Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. This video I am going to give a short introduction to the term impulse. Let us see one example. Suppose we have a horizontal fixed surface and a ball strikes the surface and then bounces in another direction. Now in this case the force and the time of impact may not be that pronounced, but there is a considerable change in the momentum. So such cases comes under the purview of impulse. Now impulse is basically defined as the impact of force for a short interval of time. So impulse is impact of force for a short interval of time. Short interval of time. It was denoted by the symbol J. In some books it is denoted by the symbol I. So you can denote it by J or I. It is a vector quantity. So vector J, and it is the product of force which is acting for a short interval of time dt. Okay, this is the way of writing this expression for impulse in integral form when the time changes from t1 to t2. Okay, or in normal form I can write it as impulse is equal to force into time of impact. Okay, impulse is the product of force and time of impact. Now let us see in what other forms this impulse can be expressed. Now as we know from second law, Newton's second law of motion, we have F is equal to dp by dt. Okay, so this gives, or in vector form, F equal to dp by dt. This gives dp is equal to F dt. Okay, so this is the time changes from t1 t2, impulse changes from t initial to p final. So let me write this in vector form, force and momentum in vector form. Okay, now what is this quantity? This quantity is impulse. This quantity is impulse. And what is this? This is change in momentum. So impulse is equal to final momentum minus initial momentum. Okay, so this is a relation between, mathematical relation between impulse and change in momentum. So impulse is equal to change in momentum. Impulse equal to change in momentum. Now this expression can also be obtained without using calculus method. Suppose some students have difficulty in understanding the calculus method, then for them, see, impulse, it is a product of force and time of impact. Impulse is the product of force and time of impact. Okay, now impulse, so what is it? Force. Force is mass into acceleration. So mass into acceleration into time. So impulse equal to mass into, see, this acceleration terms, acceleration can be expressed as v minus u divided by t. So acceleration changes from, acceleration denotes the change in velocity from u to v in time t. U is the initial velocity, v is the final velocity, and t is the time during which the velocity changes. So in place of a I can write v minus u divided by t into t. Okay, so this t and this t cancels out. So we have j is equal to m into v minus m into u. This is the final velocity, this is the initial velocity. So this is the final momentum, this is the initial momentum. So that is the change in momentum. Okay, so the conclusion is, see, if they ask you what is impulse, don't say impulse is a product of force and time. Don't just say this. You say, start from this, that impulse is the impact of force for a short interval of time. Okay, and mathematically it is expressed as product of force and time of impact, and impulse can be expressed as change in momentum. So if they ask you to prove impulse equal to change in momentum, either you can use the calculus method, or this without using calculus also you can do it. So these are the few minor concepts related to impulse.